So I welcome each and every one of you for today's session. Um, let's see, I think that's all I have to say for now. So we'll go ahead and, oh, one other thing. So I'm using a yoga mat. If you have a yoga mat, you can grab that. If you have a sturdy piece of furniture, or like I have a table, can use a chair, or I've even got some yoga blocks, just showing different kinds of tools that you could use for today's practice. Just as in all um, trades, right? There are tools of the trade, and the tools of the trade just help to make the postures more optimal or more efficient. And that's just a way that we can look at the tools. You wouldn't be a carpenter without a hammer. So the yoga practitioner wouldn't have a practice doing physical postures, maybe without something nearby to help support them in whatever way. So, and at different times we need different tools. So that's where that comes from. All right. So get comfortable. You could be seated in a chair. I'm sitting on an exercise ball. You could be sitting on a cushion or a pillow. And I'll just take a moment to, you can just rest your hands gently, maybe on your lap, out to the sides, whatever is comfortable for you. You can have your eyes closed or open. If your sinuses are clear, I invite you to breathe in through your nose. Nasal breathing has so many benefits. One included is filtering the air and warming it. Secondly, it's also a way to just direct our attention to the breath. So we notice maybe the movement of air across the skin as it comes in through the nose. If your sinuses are blocked for whatever reasons, then maybe just a slight part of the lips, but the jaw is relaxed in both cases. And there's almost a kind of a rounded feeling inside of the mouth. So the tongue can be kind of dropped away from the roof of the mouth, and almost a lifted palate. And even your cheeks maybe are kind of spacious, the back teeth not touching. And we just take a moment to just tune in, check in. And we can feel the breath, notice it. And then we can maybe encourage a little bit more expansion of the breath. So when your breath comes in to your chest, consider the widening of your chest, the widening of your ribs. So there's some actions that we can kind of encourage there. Is the ribs moving outward, even the shoulders kind of moving outward, the shoulders dropping down, the collarbones becoming more level. In fact, if you'd like to place your hands just below the collarbones and just kind of feel the collarbones here, and feel that breath in the upper chest. And then if it's comfortable to bring your hands to your ribs, maybe the front ribs or the side ribs, bringing the thumbs to the back ribs and the fingers kind of wrapping around the ribs. Feeling the rib cage broadening here. You might feel one moving more easily than the other. And again, thinking of from the inside, moving outward into the boundaries of your body, to the skin, to the muscles. So inside of us, this container of the torso where our lungs are, there is space. So allowing that space to broaden, to expand. And we'll take 2 more rounds. Good. And then releasing your hands to your lap. Maybe your eyes are open or closed, and just taking some natural breaths just to notice if there's any effects from that full breathing exercise. All right. Now let's bring our hands maybe to the sides of the head or behind the head, whatever is available in the shoulders. If your shoulders are tight, then maybe you rest your hands on your shoulders. And with your next inhale, find more length in your spine. And on your exhale, go to one side, elbow towards the waist. And you want to think about anchoring your seat down as you lift your opposite elbow up. And then inhale, coming back to center. Exhaling, growing long as you reach the elbow towards the waist or towards the floor. Inhaling, coming back up through center. Exhaling, growing really long as you reach the elbow up. Inhaling, coming back through center. Exhaling to the other side, extending the elbow up towards the ceiling. Inhale, come back through center. We'll do one more time on each side. Good. And then coming back to center, keeping those hands behind the head or onto the shoulders. And exhale, bring those elbows forward, round your spine, almost doing like a crunch here. So bringing those elbows towards the knees. And then on your next inhale, opening up your elbows, pressing your head towards your hands if your hands are on your head, and looking up. Exhaling, bringing those elbows forward. Opening the elbows wide. And we'll do 2 more times. Exhale. So feeling maybe some slight contraction in your back here, and then a slight contraction and engagement in your core. Good. And then inhale, release, opening up those arms and bringing the arms across your chest, maybe grabbing opposite elbows or shoulders and pressing those elbows down again, rounding your spine, tucking your chin. And inhaling, opening up your arms and changing the cross of your elbows. Maybe again, just grabbing triceps or grabbing shoulders and bringing those elbows down. And then release. And just rest for a moment. All right. We'll come down now onto our back. So resting for a moment here. Feeling the length of your spine, kind of elongating this naturally with gravity. You can have your knees bent or straight. And then if it's comfortable, again, bringing your hands behind your head once again, or maybe to the shoulders or maybe to the sides of your head. And with those feet comfortably placed, take your one elbow towards the same hip. So just like we did sitting, and then come back to center, and then go to the other side. And back to center, and to the other side. So your head and shoulders may lift. And let's do 2 more on each side. And think about that hip coming up towards the elbow. So there's a little C curve in your spine. And last one. And then bringing your head to center and bringing your knees out wide. We'll take the elbows down, arch your spine here, pressing those elbows down to the floor. Exhaling, lift your head and shoulders, keep your knees wide. Inhaling, opening your elbows, lowering your head, pressing those elbows down towards the floor, looking to the wall behind you. And exhaling, neutralizing your back, lifting head and shoulders. Let's do 2 more. Option on the next 2 is to bring those knees up, keeping your hips down. Last one. Good. And lowering down. Straighten both legs, arms resting to your sides. We're going to do a reverse plank here. So pressing your heels down into the floor, pressing your palms down, pressing your shoulders down, and that might be adequate. The next stage is to engage your glutes, and your glutes might lift, they might not. Maybe they hover. Maybe your whole body lifts except for your feet and your arms and shoulders and head. And take one more breath in. And exhale, slowly let it down. And just let it go, softening through the arms and legs, torso, breath, shoulders. Now bring one knee into your chest and hold on to the back of your leg. And straighten your leg now to the ceiling, flexing the foot, maybe holding on to your calf. And gently take your leg over across your torso with the opposite hand, and your arm can go out to the side for just a gentle twist here. Only go to the degree that you feel some sensation. We're not going to our maximum, especially not here at first. Still warming up. And come back to center, grabbing your leg with the same hand now of the leg, and then taking your leg sort of out to the side again. Option is to have your knee bent here. You're take the leg out to the side. Pausing for just 2 breaths here. Again, just kind of noticing what you notice. And breath coming to bring the leg back through center, leg extending up towards ceiling. And then placing that foot down and pause for just a moment before we go to the other side. And then straightening or keeping the other leg bent, and bring your other knee into your chest. You can hold it here. Take a couple of breaths. Notice what you notice. And then straightening your leg towards the ceiling. If your head's lifted or shoulders are lifted, then back out of that a little bit, or even elevate your head or shoulders on a blanket or pillow. And taking your leg now across your torso, holding on to your leg somewhere. Maybe you only go again just to that stopping point where you start to notice sensation and just explore that a little bit with a few deep breaths. Noticing how what we notice in our bodies is correlated with how our breath is. If our breath is shallow, our movements might be shallow. And gently bring your leg up to center and then out to the opposite side. And gently come back through center. And placing your foot down to the floor. Pause for just a moment. And now rolling on to your front side. And just kind of getting long in your body and resting your head on the back of your hands, the elbows out to the sides. If this causes any discomfort in your shoulders, just bring your arms down to your sides. And with your next inhale, think about lifting one leg. And you might notice that your back starts to lift too. And that's fine. Otherwise, keep it down. And then lower that leg down. And notice your other leg. And begin to lift it up. It doesn't have to go up high. Try to keep it straight. And notice your toes. And then lower that leg down. Now take your arms straight out next to your ears if that's comfortable for your shoulders. Notice one leg and the opposite arm. And let's lift up with the next inhale. Maybe your head and shoulders start to lift too. You can press down into the hand and foot that's on the floor to help you lift. And then release down. And just let it go here. And let's switch. Opposite leg and arm. Slowly coming up with a breath. Pushing down, maybe an opposite hand and foot to the floor. And then slowly coming down. Now just notice what you notice. See if if there's any tension or tightening. We are building strength. Let's see if you can let go some of that tightening or tension as we just rest here for a moment. We're going to combine now both arms and legs. So your feet might be a little bit wider than the hips. Arms comfortable. Maybe they're in a Y position. And start to press your hips down towards the floor and start to lift your arms and legs. Stretching out through the toes and the fingers. You might even rub the fingers together to notice. Wiggle your toes. Noticing from the tips of those fingers to the tips of the toes, your whole body here in space. And yet connected to the earth. And then release down. This time now, rest your head on the back of your hands. And again, just pour yourself to the floor. All right, bringing your hands next to your shoulders. Tuck your toes under, press up to tabletop position. You could also be in a plank position if you'd rather. If you're in tabletop, knees can be even slightly behind the hips. We'll take 2 more breaths here. Just feeling the strength of your body, the warmth. All right, now bend your knees and move those hips up and back for downward facing dog. Maybe bringing those feet in a little closer to the hands, creating a triangle with your body or a pyramid with your body.
And invite some length, even through the fingertips, through the heels. Right. And bending your knees, look forward. Make your way up to the top, however you want to get up to meet your hands. Could be hopping, forward fold, whatever you like. Yeah, we'll take a couple of breaths here. And bending your knees, hands to your thighs, and come all the way up to stand. Facing the long edge of your mat, taking your legs out into a wide position. And bringing your hands about shoulder height, elbows out to the sides. Inhale, opening up your arms, turning your toes out, so toes turning towards the table here, and then bending your knee into warrior two. Take 2 more breaths here as you extend out through those fingers, press down into the feet. 1 more breath. And inhale, reach towards that foot. Bring your forearm to thigh and your top arm next to your ear. Extended side angle. Keep reaching long through the fingers, long through the leg. And then on your next inhale, we'll take that top arm back behind us. Front arm reaches up towards the ceiling, coming into a reverse warrior. Bending deeply into that front knee as much as possible, feeling the strength in your body. That's it. And then straighten, reaching your right arm up, or this arm, might not be your right arm, and straighten that front leg. Coming to a little side bend here, and then reaching forward towards your toes, finding triangle pose. Hand coming to shin or knee, top arm reaching up. Pushing down into both feet, extending long through the arms and legs. Reach that top arm up towards the ceiling and lower your arms down. Parallel your feet so they're facing the long edge of your mat, and pause for just a moment to notice. All right. And then turning your other toes out, so facing the plant here. Hands to the chest. Inhaling, opening up your arms. Exhaling, bending your knee. Tracking any sensation for 2 more breaths. Maybe looking past your fingers, maybe noticing something on the wall in front of you. With your next inhale, reach towards the plant and forearm to thigh. Top arm next to the ear, and find depth, extension, reach, noticing the fingertips and the toes. And what else do you notice? Go inward for 1 more breath. With your next inhale, reach up, reverse warrior, with that front arm reaching up towards the ceiling. Finding a little bit more depth, maybe, as long as there's no pain or discomfort. Sometimes we have to move into discomfort, right, in order to grow. So I have to clarify that. All right, reach up, straighten your leg, keep reaching up, maybe take a little side bend, and then reach forward, 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 and coming into triangle position. Consider this bottom ear maybe coming a little closer towards the floor. Reach up through the top arm, palms facing the screen. Notice what you notice. Instability, that's okay. In between the instability is stability. All right, and let's come back up, straighten out, parallel the feet, and pause. Let's take 1 more breath in and exhale out. Good. All right, let's turn towards the table again. And then this time, we're going to lower that front knee and then come into a lunge position. So looking forward past the knee. Now twist. So turning towards your knee and taking the top arm up towards the ceiling. Take 2 more breaths here. Good. And lowering your hand down. Straighten your leg and walk your hands around. Parallel the feet and turning towards the long edge of your mat. Now walking over to the other side, bending that knee, turning towards the plant. Back heel is lifted here. So bending that front knee, push down, and then lengthen and turn towards your front leg as you reach your top arm up for a twist. So turning towards that thigh, towards that knee, reaching up, maybe even looking up to the ceiling if that's okay on your neck. And then taking your hand down. Pause. Now walk your hands around again, parallel the feet, and fold forward. Maybe you have a hold of your knees, your shins, or your toes here. Or maybe your hands touch the floor. And now bend your knees, hands onto your thighs, come all the way up, and then heel toe or hop your feet together and walk it out. All right. So facing the short edge of your mat now, here's where you're going to want to have maybe a table or a yoga block. And so we'll come close to that table or yoga block. And maybe it's a piece of furniture. It doesn't have to be a table. Maybe it's a chair. There's some place that you can hold on to it. So be, shorter than your waist. Okay. So we're going to bring our hands to our waist and then start to tip forward as you bring one leg up as you tip forward. Now you can bring one or both hands to that table or to the blocks, keeping that leg lifting. So you can also take your hand that was on your hip and bring that arm forward into a warrior 3. Keep reaching out through the toes and through that top arm. Good. And now bringing your hand down maybe and your foot down and come back up to standing. All right. So that's our warrior 3. We're going to do that on the other side. And then we're going to add a twist into that. It's called revolved warrior 3 and a revolved half moon, actually. And then we'll come down onto the ground for some stretching and final meditation. So hands coming to your hips and getting nice and long. And just start to lift your other leg. As you do so, just start to notice if you can tip forward, bringing that leg up behind you, taking one or both hands onto the surface, maybe to the block, and keep that leg lifting. Keep pushing down, maybe even into the surface your hands are on, and then consider maybe extending one arm forward alongside the ear. And release down, and hands down and feet under the hips. Good. All right. So we're going to add in a twist now. So we're going to approach it a little bit differently though here. So coming close to your fixed object, your sturdy fixed object. So the leg that's closest to the screen, you're going to step that leg back like so. Okay. And now we're going to tip forward and bring the hand that's closest to the screen, bring that forward onto the prop. Now lift your leg that's closest to the screen. And now as you feel stable here, you're going to start to turn your torso towards the opposite wall. Keep turning. You might even bring that arm up towards the ceiling to twist. Keep strong in the leg and keep turning. Good. And then release your hand down to your prop and lower your foot down. And then come up to stand. How do we do? How do we do today with that? We haven't done that in this class before, so a little challenging. At least for me, it was. Maybe for you, it's easy, right? Everyone's different. Okay, so let's step the leg that's furthest away from the screen. Let's step it back. Okay, and then that arm that's furthest away from the screen, bring it up overhead. Now reach forward. You're reaching forward and bring your hand to that prop. And this might be where you stay. Turning, finding that twist. Otherwise, maybe start to lean forward and lift your leg. And start lifting that leg and maybe even open your top arm. Keep turning, lengthening, twisting. Keeping that back leg lifting. Standing leg strong. Good work. All right, turn to face your prop and lower your foot down. Bend the knees and come to stand. Good work. Good work. All right. So coming to the short edge of your mat, come into a forward fold. Take your hands down to the ground and step back to plank pose. And then lifting your hips up for downward facing dog. We'll be doing pigeon today. So pigeon is bringing the knee forward. So look forward and take one leg towards the wrist and lower your knee down to the floor. So we have a couple of different options here. Your back knee, you can bend it like so to kind of a 90-90. You can come down to the floor, or you can straighten your back leg, and that might be a good place to stay. You can also roll as you widen the knee to bring that hip towards the floor. Now notice if you have any pain or discomfort on the inside or outside of the knee. Sometimes that's where it is. Sometimes it's in the hip. Sometimes it's in the back leg. So what kind of adjustments do you need to make this accessible for you? Today, I'm going to stay in this position. Had kind of a tender knee lately, so I'm going to stay here. And you might stay more upright, or you might be the type that likes to just drop down. So giving yourself permission to find a more regular breath. So certainly that work that we just did was kind of strenuous. So just giving yourself permission to let go. Notice what you notice. Are there areas that you can take the breath in a little bit more deeper? Notice any areas of resistance where there's a lot of tension or holding on. And just notice if you can pick up on any messengers in those areas. And let's take 2 more breaths here. Good. And using your hands, press yourself all the way up and facing the long edge of your mat for a wide fold. So your legs coming out wide. And you can even have them kind of narrow like this instead. Really just depends on your body. And maybe having your hips elevated on a prop. And I'll just maybe stay here. You can also use your hands to push behind you. Maybe you'd like to bend the knees a little bit like me and bring your arms up overhead. And reach forward towards the feet. Maybe the feet are available, maybe not. And pull your toes back slightly and start to press your feet forward, giving you a little bit of extension in your back and maybe coming down towards the floor. Take 2 or 3 more breaths here. Good. And then bending the knees, come all the way up. And we'll come into pigeon on the other side. So we can just tick-tock the knees here like so, coming into that 90-90 position. Maybe you come down, or maybe you straighten the back leg, and this knee can come out a little bit wider. Maybe today, maybe not today. The foot can tuck underneath, or we can have the foot flexed out in front. And what do you notice on this side? Just referring to your breath as a messenger to possibly lengthen your back leg, maybe to soften a little bit more into the posture, maybe to let go of resistance. Three more breaths here. And with your next breath, just bringing your leg around. And we'll do one more fold here. Again, maybe legs a little bit wider than the hips or a lot wider, or maybe they're a little closer together. Taking a little or a big bend in your knees, reaching your arms up and exhaling over your legs. Again, maybe grabbing your feet, your heels, your ankles, your toes, or none of the above. And with the knees bent, just allowing yourself to just kind of drape over your legs here. You can nod your head, move it side to side. And then rolling yourself on up, coming to somewhere about the middle of your mat, knees bent, and grabbing maybe the back of your knees here or the fronts of your shins. And then grabbing back of your legs, rolling on down onto your back. As you come down, you can bring the knees in towards your chest. Placing your feet down and allowing your knees to move off to one side, turning your head to the other side. Coming back through center, other side. And coming back through center. Take a moment and let those knees rest against one another and bring your arms across your chest. You can have one hand under the armpit, the other hand on the shoulder. And if you'd like to turn your head to one side, and turning your head to the other side. And bringing your head back to center, arms resting to your sides. And we'll close our movement session here today now with a few moments of meditation. So get into a position that you could sustain for about 5 minutes, getting comfortable, making sure that your body's at a comfortable temperature and your body feels comfortable on the surface you're resting on. You feel secure, either eyes open or closed. And you can just start to, once again, notice how your breath is coming into your body through those portals, either the mouth or the nose. And as we invite a little bit more ease into our body, begin to notice your eyes, your eyelids, noticing the area around your eyes, your forehead, the top and the sides of your head, your ears, your ear canals, the way that this is a space. Noticing your jaw and the space in your mouth. And the way the air passes through your throat. Your body progressively coming to a deeper state of comfort and ease. Gradually, little by little, your body coming to that state of ease. Noticing your shoulders, your arms, your hands, your fingers, your torso, your navel, your hips, your legs, your feet, your toes. Noticing your whole body from your feet, your legs, your hips, your navel, your hands, your arms, your shoulders, your torso, your neck, your head, your eyes, your mouth. Spacious awareness, yet tethered and stable. Expansive and yet dense and firm. Air-like quality and yet earth-like quality. becoming aware of that deeper, quieter, more spacious thread of peace, of comfort, and of ease. And in the thread, or in the space of peace and ease and comfort, does it move around? Does it radiate throughout other parts of your body? And residing and abiding in complete awareness, you are observing. You are the one that is observing. Timeless, whole, and complete in this moment of contentment, in this very moment, and then in this one, and then this one, and then this one. Taking a few more moments in silence. And begin now to welcome the sounds in your room. The immediate sounds, maybe your breath, or of a clock ticking, or the refrigerator running. And then noticing sounds outside of the room. Maybe you can hear the traffic or the birds singing, planes overhead. And then bringing yourself back to the room that you're in and noticing the surface that you're resting on, the texture of it, the forgiveness of it. What else might you pick up on? And as you begin to welcome yourself back into your body, welcome in some movement through your arms, legs, fingers, toes, all parts of you that you can connect with in this moment. And invite that movement in to enliven, to awaken, and to come back to the rest of your day. So as you feel ready, I invite you to come up to sitting. You can always, of course, stay where you are in the comfort of your own home. If you don't have anywhere to be, nothing to do,
then you're welcome to stay where you are always. Otherwise, if you'd like to join me in closure today, coming up to sitting with a gesture of reverence and respect, we bring the hands together. This is a gesture in so many different cultures that we use to not only honor the person that's standing in front of us, maybe to also honor that is within us and that is greater than us. And we take a moment, bow our head to the heart, bowing our head to the space of reverence and gratitude for whatever is in this moment. And releasing your hands and lifting your gaze if your eyes were closed. Thank you so much for being here live with me today. If you're watching this replay, thank you for watching and for being part of the Comeback Yoga community. We're so grateful for you. If you have the means to donate or at least to share this practice and you want to pass it along, that can be one of the greatest compliments to this community is to just share. These are easy to share. You can hit the bell icon. You can also just forward this to a friend or a loved one. And hope to see you next time. Be well. Let me know if you have anything you'd like to share. I'll stay on for another moment if you have anything that you'd like to say. Otherwise, I'll see you Monday or next time. Great. Thanks, EJ. Have a great weekend.